All right, guys. I was not planning on making this video. This is not going to be a fun one for me. This is something I just figured out. Probably one of the main causes of what went wrong at the Bassmaster Open at Sam Rayburn a couple weeks ago. As you guys will see in the video that I just finished editing, primarily was throwing an eco rig. Didn't really matter the worm in practice. They seemed to be biting it really, really well, better than any other bait I was throwing. Was not on the Koike train, had one in the boat, didn't know how to fish it, threw it a little bit in practice, didn't want to bother with something I didn't know how to fish. But anyway, getting back to the crux of this story, preparation and being organized really hurt me in this tournament. And it's something I've had issues before in other tournaments, back when I was even less experienced than I am now, just with general preparation and whatnot. But this one is something I haven't had a problem with, and that was organization. And what I'm getting to here is in practice, well, first of all, let me back up. I almost never throw an eco rig. I don't think I ever threw it in a tournament or practice last year, but going down to Texas Sam Rayburn, figured it would be a good bait. I know they like red worms in Texas, and it seemed like something that would be good with live scope, and in and around cover as kind of a finesse option. So I had it on the deck of the boat. First day in practice, I was trying to figure out how to get fish to bite, threw the Eco rig out, one ate it on the fall. And that opened my eyes to that bite. But in practice, and like I said, I never throw an Eco rig, so I only had basically one kind of nail weight. And I did not have that marked as what size nail weight. So go through practice, great practice, caught big ones every day, caught good numbers every day, and they were committing to the Nico rig, and I was sold that that was going to be my number one bait going into the tournament. Problem was, I caught so many fish in practice, I lost nearly all my nail weights. And like I said, I did not have it marked. I use, these kind of boxes here, and on most of the boxes, with techniques that I use all the time, I have little label stickers that label all the size, whether it's hooks or just weights. I have everything super organized. I feel like I'm a pretty organized fisherman, but for whatever reason, and probably because I never use an eco rig, I did not mark the size of the Nico weights. So I only had maybe 2 or 3 left for the tournament. I knew that wasn't going to cut it. So down in Texas, Rayburn, a couple tackle shops near the lake, I brought one of the nail weights with me to try to size it up. Well, in Tackle Addict, they didn't really have they really didn't have almost any nail weights. But the kind they had were tungsten, and they looked, obviously tungsten's smaller than the lead, but I knew they were way lighter than what I was throwing. And the only thing I could discern from the size I had is it was probably an 1/8. That's what I thought the nail weights that I had were, but they were so low on stock, they didn't even have an 1/8 in there. And I don't even think they had a 1/16 or anything heavier than maybe like a 1/64. And then the heaviest ones they had were like a 1/4, and I knew that was not it. And so I was trying to size it up, and I was like, you know what, I think this is an 1/8. Went down to a different tackle store, and sure enough, they had a couple packs of 1/8 nail weights. And I will show you guys, this was the nail weight. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. That was the nail weight. It's a VMC nail weight lead that I was using in practice. And the 1/8 ounce ones in the tackle shop were this size right here. Should I get this? Well, obviously it's a different shape, right? This one's kind of like that half moon ball at the end, and this is just a straight up nail weight. Well, when you look at these both, I'm trying to get this for you guys. If you look at these both, you would think that these were basically the same weight. Obviously with this ball, most of the weight's going to be at the tip, and this is going to be a skinnier section than this, which is pretty uniform all the way through. Anyway, what I'm getting to, guys, is that in the tournament, I was still around a lot of fish. Probably not as many fish as in practice, but they were not committing and biting to the Nico rig as well. And I could not figure out why. I went through a couple different worms just like I did in practice, and I just could not get the bigger ones to commit and numbers to commit. Certainly still caught a bunch of fish, probably caught over 20 fish each day of the tournament, but a lot of shorts, and I was not able to get that conversion rate. And I thought, okay, maybe some of the fish, kind of moved on me. Well, turns out they really kind of didn't, because I was fishing shallower than a lot of people, and the fish were continuing to push shallower and shallower as that water temp warmed up. But what I just found out because I ordered a bunch of nail weights after the tournament because I have a bit of confidence now in Nico rig, and I ordered more of those VMC ones. Turns out the weights I was using in practice were 1/16. And I only had 3 of them, and I interchanged them through the tournament, but I didn't want to burn through them, but I felt confident that I can burn through them because I thought I had the same exact weight on those other ones. They were 1/8. Double the size, which meant the fall rate was a lot faster. And that was a very critical error, because if I had had it marked what size nail weights I had been using in practice, I would have known what to look for in the tackle shops. And even if they didn't have a 16th, honestly, I probably would have went a little lighter. Sure, the 1/8 was a little bit more efficient in terms of getting the bait down to fish faster, but that conversion ratio of follow to bite was not there in the tournament. And it's super disappointing. That's a simple preparation error that I could have made, because I found an effective bait that was working to catch numbers and some size here and there, and I did not have everything dialed and prepared. And it's no excuse, even though it's a technique that I don't use a lot. I should have still had it marked to know exactly what size they were. So, learning lesson for me. Hopefully some of you can watch this video and kind of learn from my mistake here. But I do believe that was one of the biggest contributing factors to why I had such a bad tournament at Rayburn. Of course, there's a million other reasons probably why it didn't turn out as well as I would have hoped. But that's something that I could have controlled as an angler, and I was unable to do that. So super disappointing, guys. But I wanted to make sure while this was fresh, because I just found this out as I was going through my tackle, cleaning up from the tournament, that that was a mistake that I made. So, guys, I appreciate you watching. Hopefully I'm going to get some more content out. Up here in Illinois, it's getting warmer. So we have a couple local tournaments coming up in the next couple weeks, so super excited to get those. And then we'll be back on the road nationally in April and May. So we'll be a lot of tournament coverage and a lot of videos coming your way. So, guys, I appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, like, comment, and I will catch you guys on the next one.